you've got to have that personal touch. I mean, even when they're in your seat, depending on what the service is, it's a small talk at the beginning. I mean, let them know that you're really this first session, whatever it is, you're really there to listen. You want to know more. You want to know all about them.
You have to start getting in the habit of doing those little things. So start figuring out little ways in which you can create a very different client experience that helps your clients to feel seen and creates an experience that's unique to you. Welcome back to Hot Tea with Umo and Bri, where we spill the tea on sustainable business growth. Today, we're talking about the one most powerful growth strategies that we founders can overlook, creating a client experience that people won't stop talking about. Because great businesses don't just sell services, they create moments, relationships, and results people remember. So today, we're going to be breaking that down, how to build an experience that drives retention, referrals, and real loyalty. So Uma, I know for me, this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. But I feel before you become a business owner, you are right in that space of like the client experience and doing all the one-to-ones and doing all that type of stuff. So from your experience, why do you think the client experience even matters?
I mean, you have to make sure that your clients feel like it's a good fit. And I mean, because it's one thing to say, okay, we offer these services, the services are what the client needs. It's another thing to make sure that you guys are compatible, that they feel comfortable, you feel comfortable. And sure, just making sure start to finish, from the greeting, the initial call, it needs to be a warm welcome and there needs to be transparency. You really want to make them feel like you're rolling out the red carpet for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like it's easy to lose that. So when you're going through school, whether you're a dietitian or a physical therapist or strength and conditioning coach, you're going through your training, you're getting a lot of the sciencey stuff, right? You're getting the nuts and bolts of what makes your profession support people, right? In the science space of things. However, your client doesn't know all that. What they know is what they're experiencing with you. And so it's important to help them to feel seen, help them to feel like a person, not just throwing the numbers at them or not just treating them like they're another number or another transaction. Because I feel like that really can change the game in regard to the amount of change that you can actually find or see in a person, right? Like if they're willing to open up to you, then you're going to see more behavior change in the long run than you will if they're like still closed off because they feel like they're just a number or they feel like they're just a transaction to you.
Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, you don't always get that teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't really know that you do at all.
Yeah.
Maybe for some like programs, it's an elective or just something that like an instructor professional will just kind of roll into the subject matter. But those people skills are something that honestly, you would hope that many of us have learned at a very young age. It's funny. I was actually at my son's event. He had an event last night. And the academic teacher was just talking about like some of these things or skills that they just don't innately know. Like you have to teach them. And so, yeah, unfortunately, as professionals, if you are not just naturally a people person, you're not, I guess you could say, client experience forward, that is something that you really have to work on and do some research. That's where shadowing other professionals is incredibly important and beneficial because you can see those interactions. So, yeah, I mean, I know like from the actual service side, kind of skipping a little bit, like we talk about motivational interviewing and how that is like absolutely necessary in order for your business to work. And it doesn't even matter what service you are, if it's membership, if it's one-on-one, if it's no matter what it is, like if you are not savvy in that and understand what that is, it's going to be really difficult for you to gain and retain clients.
I totally agree. And I think that is one of the signs, like if you are trying to figure out what's going on with your business and you've got lots of client turnover, lots of people that are like coming in for a session and never coming back or whatever, sometimes you might think, oh, well, I'm an expert. I must be doing the science part right. Well, you might be, right? You might be doing the science part right. However, people remember their experiences with you, and your experience has to be a differentiator. There's lots of people in your industry that do the same thing you do. So if someone is like, oh, well, these two people, I'm getting good results, but this one made me feel more like a person, I actually feel like I have a good relationship, I guarantee you they will go towards the practitioner or clinician that gives them the results and also makes them feel like a person. Like, so if you're seeing that drop off, it may be time to do a little audit, do a little, continuing education in the area, because it's key. Like, it will make such a huge difference.
It really does. And then, even just for that like first experience on and gaining clients, right? Like, I think if we just slow down and ask ourselves, like, if I were on the other side, right, of this, like, what would I want? What are the things that are most important to me? I am always on the go. And so for me, I want easy, quick, efficient. Get it done, get it out the way, right? But I also want to be able to go to what maybe website, landing page, source, and look at everything I need to know before I continue on, before I make a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to think about that with your websites, your social media pages, if that is acting as a website. How easy is it for them to understand what it is that you offer, what they need to do, what they're responsible for before they even reach out to you? You want to think about all those things. If you were in the seat of a client, what would you want to see?
That's really good. And I think that kind of takes us into like our next segment, where we're going to kind of break down like what it looks like to build that unforgettable experience for your clients. So I think Uma just really hit it off right there. It starts before the client even pays you, right? Like, that client experience starts the first time they interact with you or receive your information, whether it's from a referral or whether they found you online through Google, your website, or Instagram, or whatever social media platform. Like, that's where it begins. And so clear messaging, as you said, is really, really important, right? Making sure that you have things set up to where if a client does reach out to you, the response doesn't take 3 weeks, right? Because that
Right.
will, people need answers now. So
Right.
if they reach out to you, and you don't respond for even like a week is too long. If you don't respond within the week, guarantee you they found somebody else. They've moved on to
Yeah.
another option, right? They've probably already booked an appointment with somebody else. And that is really important. Response times and making sure that everything's clear up front.
I agree. And even for us, I'll say that like we are very transparent in that we do want to make things easy for the client to not even sometimes honestly have to call, right? Like, you go to our website, you see everything. If it's insurance for the private practice, you know exactly. You have a script online. You have so many book now buttons on this site. Like, you have so many
Girl.
ways on our voicemail. You can also self-book, because here's the thing, in response to, in addition to rather, getting back to individuals. One thing that is very different now from when I first started practicing is that, and I'm guilty, is that I don't have time for all these bot calls. Okay?
Girl,
My
I
setting,
know.
if you aren't saved, favorited,
Yeah.
whatever, you're going straight to the VM.
Straight to it.
Right?
I know
So, I
that's
mean,
right.
be thinking about that. Like, think about some of the issues you're running into. I'll just be transparent and say, like, sometimes people are like, oh, well, we can't get anybody on the phone. And I'm like, okay, well, did you listen to the voicemail? Did you self-book? Have you also emailed us? Right?
Girl.
And that is a little bit of a challenge, because depending on the generation you work with, your client population, your ideal client population, that's all of that could look very different. All that to say, make sure that you have multiple ways for people to reach you so that that response time can be efficient, because there's
That's
so
so
many
good.
people that have the call blocker on.
Mhm.
And so it's this back and forth of like, you call me back, I called you back, you call me back, I
Yep.
called you back.
Yeah.
book
Wait,
online.
y'all. Listen, period. Because prime example. Last night, y'all, I stayed up late setting up prompts on our
Mm.
phone system.
Mhm.
Okay. And I did it with multiple clients in mind. Press 1 if you would like to receive a text with a link to book online.
Bingo.
Press 2 if you would like a callback from a team representative. And y'all, yes, I recorded all those myself because I know some folks are like, oh, is this AI? Delete, hang up, right? So I did old school. I recorded it. I set up voicemail options. I set up all the things because one, it creates clear communication upfront,
Right.
right? The clients know that they're going to experience something that is one, a testament to our professionalism, right? If you have things
Mhm.
set up, you have ways for people to book, clear communication, fast responses, right? It sets you up to show, hey, we are a professional organization. Do not sit up here trying to play with me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to do the back and forth, so it just sets up the stage for what the clients can experience throughout their time working with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really
Yeah.
is step number one in the client experience.
It really is. And I mean, and just know that you're still going to get those. You can't please everybody. All you can do is try to
Mhm.
cater to the majority and like fix the problems, fix some of the hiccups that you just naturally run into with running a business. But
Yeah.
all you can do is what you can do. I love it when people are like, I've called and I haven't, did you leave a voicemail? Because we check them
Okay.
all the time.
Like, leave a message. What?
So, yeah, think about that. Client experiences matter even from the jump. But I
Mhm.
mean, again, be in the seat of a client. What would you want? What are the things that tick you off right now? Right? What's
Yeah.
some of the other services that you seek where you're just like, "Ugh, I would never want anybody that's trying to reach out to me and my business
Mhm.
to deal with."
Yeah, absolutely. And I think really, once you've got them in, right, they've committed to working with you, the next step really is making sure that they feel seen, right?
Right.
Something as simple as knowing their name when you get on the call with them, right? It's
Exactly.
that's basic people skills,
Right.
and asking them, how do you pronounce your name? Stuff like that. You don't it's little things, personal touches that matter. If we like, and this is something I've had to go over with some clinicians in the past, like they might get on the call and maybe not have read over the paperwork, right? Okay, that's important. That's
Yeah.
important, right? Like, don't get on the call
Yeah.
being like, oh, what's AB? No, get on the call and say, hey, I went through your paperwork. These are some things that I noticed. Let's talk about it. Tell me about you, right? Tell me about what you're
Yeah.
looking to do. Those things create that personal connection to make that client feel seen
Yeah.
versus making them feel like, oh, this is just a transaction. They didn't read none of my paperwork. They don't know nothing about me. They don't even know my name. They're just showing up to the call, right? That's
Yeah.
crazy. You can't do that. And that really will turn a client all the way off. I know it does for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got to have that personal touch. I mean, even when they're in your seat, depending on what the service is, it's a small talk at the beginning. I mean, let them know that you're
Mhm.
really this first session, whatever it is, you're really there to listen. You want to know
Mhm.
more. You want to know all about them. And that immediately allows them to not feel so tense. I will say as dietitians, shoot, they're always thinking that we're
Oof.
the food police,
Yep.
whatever that even is. And I've never understood that term. But like just be like, "No, hey, like, love your nails. Where did you get your earrings?"
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
something. And then just start listening and then make them feel comfortable. Like, "Hey, we're just here talking. We're just shooting the
Yeah.
breeze."
Yeah, that's so good. I
Yeah.
feel like so much of that is lost in the sauce as y'all are going through school. I have just seen it too often where like that's not a priority to people. And I guarantee y'all it will change your whole client experience. And I feel once that's set up, now you can actually lead the client and take them on the journey, right? You guys can take a journey together. And in order to do that, again, having strong onboarding, having clear next steps whenever you're talking with the client, having regular check ins and celebrating them, right? Those simple things can make a huge difference. And I think, if you take the time to just write out your client journey. And again, this is a conversation I had with one of my clinicians. Like, what is your framework? What are you sharing with the client that helps them to understand what the journey is going to look like with you by their side? Because now you're setting them up for expectations. Say, hey, you know what? I know I'm in this for however many sessions, right? And these are the things that we're going to do together. I'm so excited. Like as a client, if somebody shared that with me, if I were in the client's shoes, I'd be like, ooh, I got a whole framework. I had a whole journey that I'm about to go through with this person who is an expert in this space. I can't wait, right? And
Yeah.
just celebrating as you hit milestones. Again, this is something a lot of people don't do. Is so important. Have the journey ready to go and celebrate along the way.
Absolutely. I just think it's really important too, because I know that we talk a lot about dietitians here, but for those of you that are like performance coaches, trainers, I mean, this is so applicable. I mean, even when you're
Mhm.
actually with them throughout their sessions, and you can always just tell. I know, be speaking from experience, you can tell some days when they come in and they're like, "Ooh, motivated," and then some days where they come in and they're like, "Ooh, I am just here because I committed." You got to
Okay.
read the
So I
room.
won't get fined.
Right, you gotta read the room, and then,
Yeah.
on those tougher days, like, that's where you may have to do a little bit more of the talking, and you may have to do a little bit of the cheering up, and you have to do what you have to do, say what you have to say to keep them motivated and engaged and happy that they made the decision to come to you and to continue
Period.
to commit to their commitment.
I love that. Have some emotional intelligence, you guys.
Yeah.
Let me say that because folks are going through things.
So
And just
many.
like Uma said, they're not always going to want to be there, but they showed up anyway. So it's your job to help them to get to where they need to get to, and be aware of what's going on. It's not always about you, right? Think about your client and what they're going through. And I think that really helps us to kind of segue into how we turn this into more retention and growth. Like oftentimes it's easy for people to make the sale and say, oh, cool, I'm done. My work is done. No, your work is not done,
Mhm.
right? Not when you're trying to create an experience, right? Like,
No.
yeah, when you're just making sales, yes, right? You have people who are sales managers. Their job is to make the sale. But you, as the owner of your company, as the clinician or whatever you are, like your job is not just to make the sale. Your job is to create the
No.
experience, right? So, what does that look like? How are you going to follow up with your clients? How are you
Mhm.
going to have those touch points that help them to feel connected and like help them to feel that you actually care about their well being and their progress, right? Those are
Yeah.
things that are very important.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one of those things too where I feel like, at least just from experience, I mean, our biggest way of growth has always been, still is, just word of mouth. And that speaks
Mhm.
volumes. That just means that the client experiences speak for themselves. The changes that maybe some of their friends, their peers, coworkers are noticing are speaking for themselves. So when it comes to retention, it's going to be based upon how comfortable your client feels with you, how they feel the process, the service that you're offering is going. Are they getting results? Yes, but do they also feel like, man, they've also maybe gained a little bit of a friend in the process?
Yes.
And that's really
Yes.
important. You want them to feel comfortable. You want them, honestly, to get to the point to where you kind of have to say, "Hey, it's about time for us to. You don't need me
Mm.
anymore."
Yeah. Yep.
And those are
Oh
those
my
and those are those
gosh.
tough talks, and
Yep.
then they get to the point where they're like, "But no, that means
Yeah.
that you've definitely done your job to the fullest capacity."
Yes.
So, I mean, retention is really all about making sure that your communication is clear. Like you've already said, you've set up the expectation and the big picture of how their process is going to look like from start to finish. And therefore, they continue to work with you until they don't need you anymore. Simply put.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that. And, when I think about the one of the other touches that fall into the client experience, it's you letting them know that you're thinking about them
Oh,
beyond
yeah.
that appointment, right? So
Yeah.
just happened the other day for me. I was talking with a client and I said, "Oh, in May, I'm going to be going to, this sports nutrition conference and this brand is always there. I'm going to grab you some samples so you can try like what
Hmm.
some of the products. So see how you like it, right? Like little things like that
Hmm.
make a huge difference. And it's something so simple. I'm already going there.
Yeah.
I can talk to the brand, I can get the samples, I can bring it back, I can share it with the client, and it lets them know, oh man, like she's willing to do that for me. That's great customer service. And it's just
Hmm.
naturally something that I do. But if that's not something that you do, you have to start getting in the habit of
Yeah.
doing those little things. So start figuring out little ways in which you can create a very different client experience that helps your clients to feel seen and creates an experience that's unique to you. Because I know everybody has their own ways that they go about stuff, but like start figuring out what an experience with you is going to look like
Hmm.
and start doing that
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah, that's really, really good. I mean, and that comes from listening. That comes from just not just like, okay, I'm taking my notes, I'm writing things down, blah, blah, blah. Like
Hmm.
really listen for like those needs and those things that would really benefit them. That'll really help them with whatever it is that they're struggling with. So that was a great example of like, yeah, hey, I'm going to get you something a matter of fact. This is going to be great. I'm going to have access to it and speak to the brand at this upcoming
Hmm.
conference. And I got you. Cause that makes them feel like, wow, you really did listen and like
Yeah.
figured out something that's going to work for me. And
Hmm.
that really does go a long way. And it's those types of experiences that clients have that they share with a potential new lead. And so
Absolutely.
you want to think about that. Don't make getting more client acquisition so difficult, guys. Just be
Mm.
nice. just be nice and act like you care. At the end of the
Yes.
day, I mean, that's all you really have to do. I
Yes.
think that like sometimes you gotta like sit back for a second and say, am I overdoing this? Am I being so technical about everything? Or
Yeah.
am I just like offering a really good service and being customer service focused? If you're client service
Yes.
focused, your work will speak for itself and your work will market itself.
Period.
That's
I
it.
love I love that because we talk, I know we've spoken about marketing before on the pod, and I know as entrepreneurs, marketing can feel really heavy and it can feel like you
Mhm.
can have a lot of pressure on you to have that client acquisition and do the marketing and things like that. But I guarantee you, if you have a really, really good and solid client experience, you will not have to stress about marketing because word of mouth is so good when it
Massive.
comes to marketing. Like, and it's free. It's free. All
3.99.
you got to do is be nice and do what you're supposed to do. Like treat the client as though they are a human being, and that will
Mhm.
create consistent growth for you, right? Not only can you
Mhm.
have better client retention because that client will likely come back and see you for more than one session in whatever space you're working in,
Yeah.
but then they will also tell people around them about you. That has happened so many times for us. And again, you won't have to stress about the marketing if you're taking care of your clients.
At all. And it's always a joy to me as like a practice owner, a business owner, when we get calls or voicemails or emails that are requesting specific clinicians. That is just like, oh,
Yeah.
like you must
Yeah.
be killing it with your clients because they're always asking for you, or these people are like
Mhm.
calling and reaching out specifically for you. And for those of you that are on the side of building a team, that's definitely the type of team you want. Like when
Yep.
you get to that point, keep them, hold them, acknowledge them, affirm them when they're doing a wonderful job. Because yeah, when you start name dropping,
Okay.
that's
Period.
wonderful.
T for sure. Yes, girl. Listen, y'all have gotten so many tips today.
You
Like,
really have.
and honestly, these will go such a long way. The client experience will bring way more ROI. If you don't know what that word is, return on investment. A
Mm-hmm.
great client experience will bring way more ROI to your business than any other marketing you can do. Seriously. So spend the time
Yeah.
to really figure out what that client experience looks like. If you have not done that, if this does not come naturally to you, because I do know there's some people, again, where this comes very naturally to you, and clients just have a good experience with you regardless. But if it's not something that comes natural to you and it's not something that you've taken the time to really pour into for your business, take the time to do it. It will be worth it in the long run.
Yes. Well, guys, that's the tea for today. If you want people talking about your business, focus on how clients feel when they work with you. Great experiences build loyalty, money cannot buy. If you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Hot Tea with Umo and Bri, subscribe on YouTube, and follow the podcast on your favorite listening platform. And if you want to grow alongside with other founders, come join our community It is wonderful. We're building it and we really want your feedback too. So shoot us a DM, let us know what you want to see in the community, but join it. And we'll see you next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Oh, girl, the tea.